Today on the How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast, we have the stock market mentor, Dan Fitzpatrick.
This is the How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast brought to you by 10MinuteStockTrader.com, where we give you the tools, tips, and tricks to help you trade faster and trade smarter. And here's your host, voted one of the top 100 people in finance by Redwood Media Group, founder and head trader of 10MinuteStockTrader.com, Christopher Uhl.
Hey there, 10-minute traders, and welcome back to the How to Trade Stocks Options podcast. Please be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss any of the tools, tips, and tricks that we upload every single week to help you trade faster and trade smarter. And today, we have the stock market mentor himself, Dan Fitzpatrick, on the line. Dan, hey, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me. As you can see, I dressed up for you.
Yes, you dressed for the occasion. That's funny. I pull a Steve Jobs. I wear the same thing every single time, so I never have to think about what I'm putting on whenever I have a podcast.
I've noticed that. I've noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't get it too dirty. I'm only in it for about 10 minutes a day, so it tends to last for a while.
Well, that's good. I have my monkey suit for CNBC as well. Yeah. If you look at all the different segments, you'll pretty much see the same coat, the same shirt, maybe a little different tie here and there, but it's it's the uniform.
Yeah, and you know what? I can't remember the source where I got it from. I believe it was a news source, but they said if you wear the same thing every day, it was on Shark Tank. One of the notes I had heard on Shark Tank is that they wear the same or similar to the same every time so that they can splice in and out footage from different episodes. And I have done that where I've I've got about a week's worth of stubble. I can use this on that episode and it should be just fine. So yeah, there's a little tip for you entrepreneur podcasts out there. So
yeah, the thing on that, I do videos all the time, and you have to if you're recording a video and you go like, oh crap, okay, I know I have to edit that. Remember to edit it. There was one time, and it's kind of embarrassing, but whatever. There was one time when I was recording this video and I said something, I made a mistake, which happens, and I'm going like, I'm looking at it, I paused, and then I launched an F-bomb. And I'm going, because I'm thinking like, I got to get this video out. I got to get it out fast. I'm kind of under the deadline. And so I was ticked that I had to edit it because typically, I just hit the record button and let it fly. I forgot to edit it. But that's when you know whether you have goodwill built up with your members, because I had people cracking up going like, Dan, hello 30 seconds in, you really need to go in and fix that. It's a family show.
That's pretty funny.
It wasn't to me, and it definitely wasn't to Gary, my brother.
I sit in front of a whiteboard, and I have sections of my whiteboard. One of them is for edits, just in case I go along the way, and I'm like, I gotta make sure I get that out. So yeah, cool. So Dan, thanks for coming on the podcast today. Would you mind giving the podcast audience a little bit about giving some history about you, about Stock Market Mentor, and the whole Dan Fitzpatrick universe that is out there?
Yeah, I'll have to start. I was born. I'm 60,
we ain't got time for that.
I'm 61 years old, and I've been trading full time since about 2000. I first started trading in 2000 or in 1996, but like most people, I had a full time job. I had stuff to do. I was actually an attorney. I was practicing law. Second best job I ever had was suing the government. Just didn't pay that well. But so I just fell in love with trading, and I just had to get my hands on every single bit of information that I could. And so I kind of did like Cortez did, with his army back in the day, where got them all piled off the boats, and then said, okay, well, I just burned your boats. You can't go home. So my recommendation would be, let's go win the war. And so I kind of put myself in that situation where I just had to succeed in trading. So anyway, so I did that for a while. I mean, I traded for a while. I'll just give you the high points. And I started communicating by email with Jim Cramer when he was still on CNBC just as a hedge fund manager, Cramer Berkowitz. And he was really nice enough to answer all my questions. I'd say all the time. I never asked him, what should I buy? What do you think about this stock? Like, I never asked him those questions because I figured that's what everybody asks him. And he did tell me later when we got to know each other that he noticed that. He always noticed that I was not asking him for money type tips, but I wanted to learn. And so anyway, he offered me I thought he was offering me a job to write for thestreet.com, which I was really flattered, but it turns out all he was offering me was like a chance to audition.
And
send in articles.
It's a start.
Yeah, well, it's something. I'm some knucklehead just kind of banging stocks around. And so I wound up getting a chance to write for thestreet.com, and I wrote actually for quite a while for free, which was really hard work. But then they had to start paying me because I said, you need to start paying me. And then a while after that, I started Stock Market Mentor because everybody would ask, a lot of people would ask. I'd get emails, hey, do you have a subscription service? I like your articles, do you do anything else? And I'm always answering no, I really don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. And after a while, I'm going like, well, wouldn't it be nice if I said, yes, I do? And so that's when I started Stock Market Mentor. And I've been doing that. Ever since. And it's frankly, I was going to say it's the love of my life, but that would really make my wife angry. But I really love I feel like I'm kind of living the dream.
Yeah. Well, that is cool. And thanks for sharing that. There was a couple things you touched on in there. Just this very morning, I was listening to an audiobook called The CEO Next Door while I was at the gym. And they were talking about that principle of, burning the boats. We showed up here. There's no turning back. And so, yeah, that's funny. The second time I've heard that today. And then also the working for free. Oh, man, I get that. It's funny because when people say, you need to go out and make sure you get what you're worth or whatever, I don't think that those people have actually gone out and tried to get what they're worth without having an audience, right? It's so hard to build an audience, but once you got it, you're good to go.
Well, the thing is, people want to, they say, well, you're not paying me what I'm worth. No, I am paying you what you're worth to me. To me. You may think you're worth more, and that's great. I support you in your quest to make more money. I'm just not going to pay you, so move on. Which is, that's just business. I mean, if the advice that I would give to anybody is, if you think you're worth more money, then make yourself worth more money.
Absolutely.
Whatever it takes, do whatever it takes, be that standout person, in your, whatever your job is, trading or anything else, flipping best at it so that when they're looking for somebody to promote, it's like, well, let's see. Well, Chris is obvious. We're definitely promoting Chris, but is there anybody else? Be the foregone conclusion that you're the one that's going to take that next step up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something I've tried to live by my whole life. I had heard this phrase once before, and it's something like, be so good that they know who you are before you walk in the room, and you've already got the job before you sit down. That kind of deal. So I agree with you. But that doesn't come from nothing. You got to put in hard work to get there.
You have to. And one other thing, I hadn't thought about this in a dozen years, but it kind of dovetails into what we're talking about. Most people don't know this. I used to be a professional musician and a vocalist in LA, and one of the gigs that I got was singing with John Fogerty of Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Wow.
When he first came back with his Centerfield record. And so we did a live deal for, it was a kind of a pretty big deal. And I was, of course, starstruck. I'm there with John Fogerty, and how I got the job is not important. It's not relevant here. But with these legends like Prairie Prince, this awesome drummer, Albert Lee, who's just sick. He's great. Booker T, like all these guys, Duck Dunn, who was the bass player for the Blues Brothers, and Eric Clapton. Here's my point. I'm talking to Duck Dunn, and I really wanted to make it in the music business. So I'm talking to Duck Dunn during a break, and he was telling me, he didn't have his pipe like he always had, but he goes like, yeah, when I first started out, I got married. And even before I got married, I told my wife, it's music. It's only music. I'm not, just so you know, I want to make it in music. I think I can, but I just want you to know, if I got to be playing down at the corner bar for $75 a night, that's what it's going to be. I'm just letting you know. And here I'm thinking to myself, crap. I got a degree in physical therapy. I got a good job. I'm kind of smart. I'm interested in a lot of things. And here's the payoff. I don't have the determination to make it. I'm looking at this guy. I couldn't be that guy. Because I wasn't the kind of guy that would burn my boats and say, that's what I got to do. I don't care if I got to play in the corner bar for $75 a night. That's going to go on until I get a job doing something else. So my point is, if you're going to do something, do it. Just determine, I'm going to do this thing. Otherwise, you're just like everybody else.
No, that's well said, and that's some really great advice. You can apply that to so many things in your life, right? I was just listening to an Ed Milet podcast. Do you know Ed Milet? Do you know who he is?
No.
He's this really buff. He's the head of World Financial Group, but he's a motivational speaker kind of guy as well. And he said something along those lines where it's like, you know what? Your distractions, what you're distracted by, should be the things that you're obsessed by, right? And for Duck Dunn in this case, his distractions were his obsessions with the music. And for people like you and me, our distractions of trading stocks become our obsessions. And once those two align, that's when you're heading in the right direction. So and you can apply that to so many things.
Yeah, on any given day or week or month, just kind of stop and take stock of stuff and go like, what makes me the most happy? What makes me the happy? Of all the things that I'm doing, what makes me the happiest? Not what makes other people the happiest, but like, where do I get my jollies in my life? And then just do more of that.
Yeah.
Then you're going to be happy. Like when you think about it, if your job is a mundane job and you hate it, but you're doing it because, I got a family to feed or I got bills or this. Okay, that's fine. You got to do what you got to do. But just recognize that you're probably going to be unhappy unless you have a real mind shift and, put your focus on something else and kind of divorce yourself from the fact that you got a job that sucks. Or maybe just find another job that doesn't suck. Or maybe
that's true.
More on doing something else. And that's the way it is with trading too. Like people that are trading, if you want to trade well, you really have to love it. You really have to love it. If you don't, buy the S&P 500 and be done.
Yeah.
You'll never underperform.
Yeah, that's very true. I think it takes a special kind of sick person to want to be a trader, because I don't know anywhere else where you can fail as often as we do, and yet day after day you just put your hat back on and get back to work. Yeah.
I hear you. The reason I'm kind of pausing on that is because one of the things that's really been like hitting me in the head so much lately, and I write about this a lot on my morning market thoughts. It's a note that I write in the morning and send it out to members, and very rarely is it with respect to market related more than futures are up a little bit, and that's it. It's just like stuff that I think about, that I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about. That's what I kind of spit out. And lately I've been thinking about this, about like, why the hell is it that I do what I do? What is motivates traders? And everybody's motivated by something that's a little bit different. But the funny thing is, what really, really, truly motivates most traders is not making money. It's something else. You're getting some kind of reward out of it other than making money.
Yeah.
And if you stop and think about it, and there's a payoff to what I'm saying here. If you're just starting out trading, and let's say you've got a job, and I don't know what middle income is anymore. Let's say you're making 80,000 a year or whatever. Is that a good salary?
Hey, that's a great salary in Texas. It may be middle income in California, but
no. You're on an Obama phone, homeless with an 80,000 right here. But yeah, so let's say 80,000. Okay, so then, and you've got a $5,000 or maybe a $10,000 account. Okay, well, if you're trading right, maybe you're going to make $200 on a trade. I mean, let's use easy math. Let's say you have a $10,000 account. You're just kind of starting off, and you make 10% your first year, which if you're just starting off, you're just starting trading, I mean, frankly, making a profit is pretty.
Making anything is great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say you're a superstar, first year trading. You make 10%. Well, that's $1,000, which is, what is that, about $80 a month?
Yeah.
Something like that. My point is, the money isn't what's going to motivate you if you have a regular job of $80,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, you can take the guy who's worth a bazillion dollars, and it's like, he doesn't need the money. So why would a guy like that be trading? It's not for the money. He doesn't need the money. Both people on totally opposite ends of the spectrum with respect to income are trading for reasons other than to make money. And my focus is trade to trade well. Mm-hmm. And the money's that's just kind of like how you keep score.
Yeah.
If you trade to trade well, then it's kind of like the money doesn't matter. And if you're the guy or the lady who's trying to get to where they're going to be able to trade professionally, but they got to get to that point, then they have to be comfortable with their numbers. They have to be looking at their performance. What was my biggest loss percentage-wise? What was my biggest gain? What's my average loss? What's my average gain? What are the stupid things that I keep doing time and time again? And how do I not do those anymore? Like, they have to be really, really self-aware of everything that they're doing, trading, other than making money. Because I can tell you right now, if you're getting what I call the can't help it's, where you look at a stock and you know it's running and you know you're chasing it, but by God,
it just looks so good, I can't help it.
Boom.
Yep.
If you keep doing that, I can tell you what your account looks like. I don't even have to ask you how you're doing. I know. Mm-hmm. You know too, but you don't want to tell me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So the point is, you have to know, you have to have forget about the money. Now, why am I trading? And your payoff has to be trading well. And then you need a process to follow, because I'm a box checker. I need a list. This is in every area of my life. I need a list of things so that whenever I check a box, that's like an accomplishment. Yay, I did the dishes. Check.
Yep.
That's what works for me. Other people, it doesn't. But self-awareness is a really, really good thing to have, because if you know what motivates you, if you know what turns you on, then just do more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I've realized, and this is where we're trying to swing our members into, is don't trade a lot. I mean, if there's a lot of good trades, then sure, go ahead and trade a lot. But trade the right way. Like, don't do stupid stuff. Don't take big losses. Don't take a big trade because I got a real feeling about this one. Like, no, you don't get a vote on what the market does. You can just react to it. So take as many things as you possibly can and put them in a formula. And I'm not talking about algorithmic trading or like a trading like algorithm or a trading process that just fires off trades. You got to be discretionary. If there's no such thing as a good black box that at least any of us will know about, because you tell me if you're this way. If I had a black box that worked and just basically like printed money, do you really think I'd tell you about it?
No.
No.
I would be shoving as much money as I could into it to get even more out, but I'm sure not telling you about it.
Yeah. So the point is, you all have to take responsibility for what we do, but think about it. Like, the fewer moving parts you have, the better you're going to do, and the easier it is for you to progress because there's fewer moving parts to tweak. And so what I see in our business, and you and I are kind of in the same business where we're talking trading. We're trying to help people out. We're trying to help people trade better. Well, one of the biggest difficulties from a person who's trying to learn to trade, one of the biggest difficulties that they have is how many different trading strategies are there? Like, right. Stocks, options. I do futures. I do this. I do the flying triple wombat, double hibachis with the this and that. Like, hell, I just buy stocks and I want them to go up.
Yeah.
Or I sell options because I want them to go down. Like, you take a basic structure and do it again and again and again and again. That's how you make money. You say, take one thing that you really like, one style of trading, never do anything else until you feel like, okay, I got that handled. Now maybe I'll do this or that. And see, I used to, I don't mean this to sound like I'm marketing my website, because I'm actually really not, but I used to have in Stock Market Mentor, I still kind of have to do this occasionally. Like, I'm talking in the same day, talking how to day trade. First thing in the morning, buy such and such, put your stop here, buy more here, raise your stop, get out. Like, we'll walk people through trades, boom, 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 boom. And they go like, wow, thanks very much. Can we do another? No, not today. Come back tomorrow. We'll do it again. Then I put on a different hat and I'm talking swing trading. And then I have to put on a different hat and I'm talking like trading more of a trend trading thing, kind of more of a longer, buy and hold type of thing in the same day. And I'd have people go like, dude, do you realize that just yesterday you covered NVIDIA and told me to buy more? And then today you're telling people, hey, take your total position off in NVIDIA. And like, how does that work? And the reason is because, well, yesterday I was talking about buying NVIDIA and hanging. This was a while ago. It wasn't literally yesterday. But,
right.
Like, I was talking about buying NVIDIA because it's a nice uptrending stock and it's doing this, higher highs and higher lows. Buy the stock. Today, I'm talking about day trading NVIDIA. It popped up, 3% or 4%. You got to take that thing off the table. The point is, the person that's listening to me both days is going to be very confused.
Yeah.
How are they going to get the hang of any kind of trade strategy when all they're hearing about is trading? It's like I was talking to you before, it's like somebody saying like, I love athletics. What does that even mean? Like, the most sedentary guy like loves athletics because he runs to the bathroom, so you have to have a specific thing that you do. And if you have a specific thing that you do, then you're going to get really good at it.
Hey, do you trade options like I do? Then you don't want to skip this. You want to pay attention. I just found the very best options trading platform out there, and I want to tell you all about them. I bet you feel like you're never satisfied with your current options broker, right? Anytime you want to get help, anytime you call them, anytime you email them, you never actually get to talk to a human. And you need to talk to somebody because their platform is so difficult to use. I mean, you've got to go through all these different screens just to place a single trade. And then on top of that, their commissions are eating you alive. You can't even make money because the commissions cost more than your profits. My name's Christopher Uhl, and I was awarded one of the top 100 people in finance, and I'm also the host of the How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast. And Tastyworks is the platform that I use and I recommend. Yeah, I know they got a funny name, but you're going to want to learn more about this platform. It was built by options traders for options traders. So if you're an options trader, you definitely want to check out Tastyworks. It was built on the back of high frequency trading technology. So you're going to be getting close to the best fills possible. And on top of that, their commission structure, it's almost unbeatable. It's only $1 per leg to open a trade and $0 per leg to close a trade. So click the link to check out Tastyworks today and use the code 10MINUTE, that's 10MINUTE, to get over $150 in free 10-minute trader exclusive bonuses just for signing up for a Tastyworks account. It really doesn't get easier than that. You're going to get the best platform that I've ever used, and you're going to get free bonuses from 10minutestocktrader.com. So make sure you check out Tastyworks and use the code 10MINUTE, and you'll be just as blown away as I was by Tastyworks and their options trading platform built by traders for traders.
This is the kind of trading you're going to do, and you're going to be really flipping good at it. Now, help other people be good at it too. You do this. You're going to, so we're kind of splitting it up so people can almost kind of like pick and choose. What kind of, not like necessarily who do I like better, but what kind of trading works for me? Because if you're the guy that like, I just want to make money now, you're not going to be the guy that buys high dividend stocks.
Right. Right.
But if you're a guy that has a hard time finding time for the market, but you want to be involved, you're not really going to be interested in 59-minute trading. So it's kind of like that's to me, that's the challenge that most people don't even recognize that they have until it's too late, is find what kind of trading works for you, not like what kind of trading works. Any kind of trading works excellent for somebody, but find what works for you and then just do that and get really, really good at it. And so anyway, that's kind of where my current emphasis is, now.
Well, that's people.
About it, as you can.
Yeah. No, I was about to say that is why Dan is called the stock market mentor, because I mean, look, he just went off like 20 minutes telling you about, doing this and doing that. And at no point in time did he say, go out and buy NVIDIA or go out and sell NVIDIA. There's so many more intellectual complexities to trading than just pushing the buy button or pushing the sell button. There's a lot more going on out there. Well, and that's what Dan's talking about.
This is the thing. And I appreciate you saying that. The first time I was on CNBC was about like 2006 maybe, or 2007. A friend of mine, Herb Greenberg, who used to be on CNBC all the time. I don't know what he's doing now. I got to call him and find out. I had said like, hey, I was kind of stupid at the time. I thought, I could be on CNBC. I had no idea what that meant. And so anyway, he was able to kind of get me hooked up with some producer, and he said, he called this lady up, I forget her name, and he said, hey, a good friend of mine, Dan Fitzpatrick, you got to have him on CNBC. He's great on television. And so he called me back, and actually I think she called me first and said, like, it was 5 minutes after I talked to him, and they booked me on the show. Going like, what the heck?
Wow.
Yeah. And then he said, so then Herb calls me back and he goes, you've never been on TV before, have you? And I'm thinking, well, I did sing with John Fogerty one time. So I said, nah, not really. And he said, okay, here's the deal. Have an opinion. He goes, have an opinion. It doesn't matter if it turns out to be right or wrong, but don't go on there and say, I don't know. Have an opinion, because that's what's important. And so I did. Well, okay, fine. Enough war stories. And I was on with Peter Schiff, who anybody who knows Peter Schiff, he's the most bearish guy around. You know, he thinks 12 years is too long for this earth to survive. I love Peter. He's a great guy. But anyway, the bottom line is, though, that was way back when. After all this time, I could go on CNBC if, you know, whenever I want, for the most part. I know enough people to where I say, hey, I got something to say, and I'll go on. But for the most part, Chris, like, I don't know. Like, I don't have an opinion.
Yeah.
I don't, because I've been doing this long enough to know what's not knowable. And that's why sometimes with financial television or with things that people write, the way they write, I'm going like, dude, I've been doing this since 1996. There's no possible way that you can know what you're telling these poor people who don't know any better, what you know. Like, you don't know that. And it as you can see, like, it drives me crazy, because we have an obligation. I assume that somebody who's listening to me, whether it's here or on Stock or Option Market Mentor, I assume that they don't know as much as I do, you know, and so I take my responsibility seriously. Now, the cool thing is, when you're actually listening to somebody else, you actually want to make the opposite assumption and say, I don't know who I'm talking to, but let me see if I can learn something from this guy, you know, and that's the way you get better in life. But I look at things now so much differently than I did 3, 4, 5 years ago. For me now, it's risk management. It's like, okay, I don't know which way the stock's going to go, but I do know charts, and I know how charts work. I know that I call it a power cycle. This is the way I look at charts. There's four groups of market participants. There's buyers. Boom, you bought. You were in that group for a split second. Now you're a potential seller. That's it. So you just went from the ultimate bull, boom, I'm in, to now, at some point, a bear. You've gone from support to resistance. You just don't know when. And then those are potential sellers. And then there's sellers. Those happen just in an instant. And then there are what? Potential buyers. So it's like you're exchanging stock for cash or cash for stock. And that's instantaneous. The rest of the time, you are potential energy. You're built up energy. And so when I look at charts in that way, then it makes sense to me, because I see, like, okay, the longer a chart is stretched out, like if you look, I don't know if this is interesting to you or not, but it is to me. It's fascinating.
No, I'm really into it.
The longer a chart is stretched out, 6 months ago, a year ago or something, like, do you really, and the stock's just gone down. Do you really think that anybody who bought 6 months ago is still going to be holding that stock, and they're going to sell it when it gets back to their buying point? No, they've had 6 months to correct that mistake.
Right.
They're done. They're out. Doesn't even matter. Whereas you're trading a stock on Monday, and you buy like right at the high, and then the stock pulls back a few days, and then it starts to come, and you're going like, crap, you know I shouldn't have bought that stock. Dan told me not to be doing that, but I did it anyway because I got the can't help it, and I just had to do it. So then the stock goes down, and you're feeling like an idiot. And then the stock comes up on Thursday or maybe even Friday to your buy point. What are you going to do? You're going to correct that mistake, and you're going to say, I think I'll just undo this. It hasn't cost me any money. Sell. Your resistance. 6 months. If you bought 6 months ago, you're not resistance. If you bought yesterday or the day before, you're resistance. If you were thinking about buying yesterday, but you didn't, and then the stock pulls back and you get an opportunity to buy at the same price, you're going to do it. You're support. If you were thinking about buying a stock 6 months ago, and you didn't, and it pulls back to there now, you're not support, because you've moved on down the road. You're not even thinking about that stock anymore. So those are just the kind of ways that I look at charts, and maybe it sounds a little convoluted, but to me it makes a heck of a lot more sense than just looking at these lines and boxes, squiggles, and all that.
No, that's actually really good insight. Some of a lot of the times we lose perspective on, that there are actual humans pushing the buttons out there, right?
Yeah.
Granted, there are algorithms in place, but the algorithms were designed by humans, and there's institutions that are building positions or liquidating positions as well. So there's a lot going into it, and frankly, I never really thought about the connection of the human pulling the trigger on the other end of the trade and what that looks like, or the potential energy. I like how you put it that way, of the trade out there.
Yeah, and when you think about, I hear, I remember the flash crash a few years ago. I was getting a haircut when the day, swear to God, it's like it still sticks in my crop. I was getting a haircut. The market was nice and docile, and I think it was like 10 o'clock my time or 9 o'clock. I'm on the West Coast. I go in, and it's all well and good. I get my hair cut, pretty nice cut. And then I come out to the car. It was. Anyway, so I get my hair cut. I come out, I turn on the car, and I got Maria Bartiromo shrieking, going like, the Dow's down 1,500 points, or, whatever it was. I'm going like, what just happened? And I'm looking like, are there any mushroom clouds around? Like, what's going on? I totally missed that whole thing. I actually did make a little bit of money going back. I rushed home, and I don't know, I probably made $5 on Apple something. But the point is, like, that's when people really start looking at algorithms and automated trading and all that. But this is the thing. If you're going to be the person who thinks like, oh, with all the machines, none of this stuff works anymore, then you really should not be trading, because, it's never going to work for you. For me, like you said, and I totally agree, because there's no other way. These algorithms are programmed by humans. Okay, but what are the programs designed to do? They're designed to look for air pockets in support and resistance. They're designed to do certain things that then capitalize on what they predict human behavior will be. So basically, these machines, for the most part, are just more forceful human beings. They're like human beings with an opinion. They're going like, okay, if I do this, if I juice the stock up, this is like artificial intelligence. If I juice the stock up and push it up here, that's going to attract momentum buyers. It's also probably going to trigger some buy stops for some short sellers. And so that's going to start pushing the stock up, and that's going to get more buyers coming in, et cetera, et cetera. That's the way these things work. And they're all kind of just, if you understand what's really happening, and most people don't, frankly, because they're too busy learning about all these 99 different ways to trade, instead of going like, wait a minute, what do I need to know? Like, not what do I want to know, because I'm really interested in this and I want to know everything there is to know about everything in the financial markets. No, what do I need to know?
You trade stocks and options, right? Or at least you want to. Don't skip this ad, but pay attention. You're going to want to hear this. Do you ever feel like you just don't know which stock to pick? There's so many of them out there. Or maybe you even feel like the market is working against you, and that every time you put on a trade, it just seems to go wrong. You're losing, you're sweating, you're always staring at your phone wondering, why does this keep happening? My name's Christopher Uhl, and I was awarded one of the top 100 people in finance, and I'm also the host of the How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast. And I found this awesome service called FinClub AI that I want to share with you today. FinClub AI uses artificial intelligence to deliver you the very best stock picks that I have ever seen. And with these stock picks, you're going to be trading with the algos out there instead of against them. This is the kind of tech that the big Wall Street banks use whenever they're placing trades. They really do take the guesswork out of trading, and their win rates on any given day are between 85 and 95%. It is absolutely unreal and just a little scary just how well this artificial intelligence works. So click here to learn more and use the code 10MINUTE, that's 10MINUTE, and you'll get 2 weeks of free stock picks delivered to you every single day. And as a bonus offer, you're going to get your first month half off, and that comes after your 2-week free trial. So now you've got 6 weeks to see just how great the stock picks are at FinClub AI, where they take the guesswork out of trading.
Those are the people that will look and they'll go like, why did every index magically turn down at 11 o'clock in the morning? And then why did every index magically turn back up at 11:15 or 11:10 or 11:30 or something? Those are called sell programs and buy programs. They don't just happen randomly. You're not going to get a sell program that hits at 11:38. They happen at 11:30, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock. They happen on the even numbers. And they're really, really obvious if you know what if you know what to look for. And the reason I think that's important is because stuff like that, honestly, you go like, okay, well, that's some goofy machine. Vicky, remember from iRobot, that movie, The Artificial Intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm Detective Spooner. Like, I think everything is crazy these days. But, like, that's some artificial intelligence. Somebody pushed a button. Let's sell them and take them down. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. The only thing that it means is that people are going to get freaked out. So it's going to kind of like, you're putting a stick in the hornet's nest, and everybody kind of buzzes around. But after a while, the hornets are just going to come back to the nest and keep doing what they did before. So if you really kind of understand how all that stuff works, then you know when it's not important. Mm-hmm. But if you don't understand how it works, you don't know whether it's important, and then it bugs you because you're like, I don't know what happened. And then you're on edge. You're not really sure. You were going to do this, but then you see this happen in the market. And so now I don't know. And then you wind up doing nothing, or you do the wrong thing. And then a week or a month later, you look back and you go, I don't even remember what the heck I was thinking about.
Yeah.
So I just think all this stuff's really fascinating.
No, I agree. And listening to you and your perspective on things is really fascinating too. Like, this is the kind of inside information, honestly, that I'm excited to learn more about. And I know the podcast audience out there may not have heard about before. So, man, you covered so much in there.
I know.
I'm trying to think if there was. So with all that being said, what's your approach to trading? Like, what are you looking at now? I mean, you were talking about buying a stock for a couple of days, or maybe selling some options for maybe a little longer. But what's Dan's approach to trading? Because you've got so many, obviously.
Yeah, I'm a pretty busy guy, and people go like, "Oh my God, you must trade all day long." I'm going like, "No, I can't trade all day long. I'm too busy with my trading website." And they go like, "Tilt, like what? What are you talking about?" I don't have time to trade all day because I'm busy with my website. There's so much other stuff to do. So with respect to trading, I know my limitations, and this is what they are. I do most of my work on not just my personal. What I do in my own account is kind of what I talk about in Stock Market Mentor. I don't trade every stock I talk about in Stock Market Mentor because I just can't. But I do most of my work and my research either after market hours or during the middle of the day. I used to kind of trade all day long, and then I got tired of losing money. And so what I do, if I had to do one thing, I would be what I would call a trend trader. I would look for, and this is what I do most of the time, I look for cup and handle formations within an uptrend. That's what I look for. I study. It's kind of an IBD, William O'Neill approach with a few little twists. but typically it's I want to find stocks with good growth and good earnings per share ratings and consistency. Those are the only fundamentals I look at. I don't know what, to me, PE is physical education when I was in the field.
Yeah.
I don't look at any of that stuff. I don't care. So my preferred style of trading is look at two fundamental things. And you can look at like operating margins and all that. Honestly, I don't. You're kind of supposed to. That's like the big three. But I know what the revenue is and I know what the sales are, and that's enough. And why am I looking at just those two? Because I know that that's what institutions are attracted to. So I wouldn't even have to look at those if somebody would give me a list of the stocks that institutions are interested in buying and are about to buy. That's the only reason I look at that stuff. And so then I look at that, and then I look for these stocks within uptrends. And my idea is I want to buy them right. And then I want to be able to hold them. And I want to be able to hold them for anywhere, and this sounds like almost contradictory, but anywhere from 2 weeks to maybe 2 months. And, you could say, well, why are you even looking at fundamentals if it's just 2 weeks to 2 months? And I would say, well, maybe I could hold them longer, but that's just what I do. I hold them until I'm happy. And if I can make 15 or 20% on a stock, then that's really good enough for me. I mean, it's rare you're going to make that in a couple days, or a couple weeks even, maybe not even in a couple months. But you'd be amazed at how fast. You buy a stock at $100. How many times have we seen a stock go from 100 to 120? In a month, or
Netflix doubling in 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not pie in the sky stuff, but there's over 5,000 stocks that are freely traded. I'm just looking for one. So the point is, that's the type of trading that I like to do. But here's what most people don't understand. You know how much time I actually spend trading? There, I just bought. Oh, there, I just sold. I just traded. Like, you spend no time at all trading. Everything else is what matters. And so that's what I like, is the research. I don't just like the research. I like being right.
Yeah.
I do. I like looking at 5,000 stocks and winnowing it down to a list of 15, 20, 30 stocks, and then gradually finding 1, 2, 3, or 4 of them that I'm going like, God, these all fit my criteria. Maybe 3 out of 4 work out, maybe 2 out of 4 work out, and then it's just all about risk management. That's what I like to do. But then this is where it can be a little bit challenging for me. Not everybody on Stock Market Mentor likes to do that kind of stuff. I'll get people who are saying, like, I'll type and say, like, hey, you know what? This is really nuts today. Seriously, like, don't buy anything. Or I telling somebody or making a statement several years ago where this is not an environment where you want to be buying calls or puts. And you know about this. You're a call and put seller. Implied volatility is really high. Stocks are really jiggy. You don't want to be buying calls or puts. It's just not the right environment. You're going to lose money. So we're going to be looking for bear call spreads or bull put spreads or short puts or something. That's what we're going to do. And I almost immediately get an email from this really nice lady. I'm sure she's probably still a member. And she said, yeah, but my IRA doesn't let me sell calls and puts. I can only buy them. So what should I buy?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going like, come on, I just told you not to do, I can't find anything. And you're saying, well, you got to, so what do I do? Like, you can just, excuse me, I'm sitting on the fence for a day. It's really okay just to do that. And you'll make more money. Well, like Jesse Livermore said, he made more money sitting on his hands than anything else. Because it's not, you don't make money when you buy or you sell. You make money on what happens in between when you do that. And you don't get to, remember I said like potential energy? You buy. and then your potential selling energy. You sell, then your potential buying energy. You make money when you are potential energy. You make money when you're sitting there doing nothing, letting other people chase the stock, letting other people dump the stock. And so what I like to do is in the mornings, I like to capitalize on that, because remember, I just said I like to buy these stocks, good growth stories, institutional buying, ride them up until I'm pretty happy. And by the way, along the way, maybe I might add to the position. Maybe I might say, oh crap, I'm wrong on that one. I'll sell, manage risk, limit your losses. And then, oh crap, I got shaken out. Well, okay, I'll buy it back. It's okay. You know, it's not like you got married and then divorced and then fell in love again. You just like buy and sell a stock. It's done. So during the mornings, I look at day trades. I love doing that stuff. I just actually took what I did was I cranked out an iron condor last night on Amazon.
For earnings?
About 3 minutes before, you'll see this on the website. I just didn't have time to like get everybody else into the trade. About 3 minutes before the close, weekly options expiring today. And I sold the 1950 call, $5 wings on each side, 1950 call and 1850 put. Because the stock closed yesterday, I think around
1902. Yeah.
Implied move was like $36. I sold it for, I want to say $225, and I closed it for 90 cents today. And the reason I closed it, frankly, because I was going to do this podcast with you, and I had other stuff that I'm working on, and I don't get nonchalant with money. If I was going to leave that trade open to get that last 90 cents, I would want to be watching the market. And because I don't know what Amazon's doing, maybe it's imploding, and I would have gone like, oh crap, you know, I knew I should have closed it out. So I'm going like, sell it for $2.25, buy it back for 90 cents on like less than, I guess, what, about 15 hours worth of work. Okay. I'll do that every day. So those are the types of fast trades that I like to do. But after like 10 o'clock or 10:30 in the morning, Chris, I'm done. Now I'm working on, I'm researching. I'm in the forum a lot anyway, but in our trading room. But I'm doing the research and I'm reading. I read trading books all the time.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, yeah. I'm not going to turn the thing around, but
That's okay.
And I got this big wall full of books. And, you know, frankly, most of them, to be honest with you, they're not very good. A lot of them are repetition. I got Edwards and McGee. I got Pring. I got Murphy. You know, all the big technical indicators. Yeah, technical analysis of the financial markets, Dorsey, behavioral trading. That kind of stuff. I got a bunch of them, but I learned so much from Mark Minervini, who's become a friend of mine. He's a great guy, and he's written a couple books that are really, really, really good. They're not as, I don't know if Mark will ever see this podcast, but like they're not as accessible as you might think. And the reason is because it kind of requires a lot of work. Everything is easy to understand. He really does present stuff in really easy, in a real easy format. But you have to really have a burning desire to learn how to do this stuff. And he's like the Curly in City Slickers, like one thing. He has his style of trading, and that's all he talks about. He does trade a little bit on the side here and there, but like underneath the radar. I know that for a fact. But he has this one thing that he teaches, but it's like numbers. You got to know what your numbers are. What's your average profit? What's your average loss? All that stuff. And it requires a lot of work. And I've found it to be incredibly difficult to log all trades and look at the charts and review and stuff like that. I'll go ahead and say it. But the big thing for me was I have the best of intentions on Monday, or I have the best of intentions this week or next week, but by 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now, I kind of get behind. Life got in the way. I stopped logging them. And then the next thing you know, another month goes by or two, and you're going like, crap, I can't go back and log in all the trades. So then you don't do it. But that's how you learn. So what we're actually doing, and I haven't ever said, that's why I'm going like, will I say it? I haven't really announced this or talked about it before, but we're putting together a process. Like, there's a bunch of different trading platforms out there. I mean, trade tracking platforms out there. I've looked at a lot of them. Some of them are really, really robust. Some of them really aren't. But really, all of them are kind of difficult to use. And if, it's like, oh, well, your trades can be, you import your trades, So, okay, I'm some old fart on a Thinkorswim platform. I don't know how to import trades.
Right.
I'd like to import cigars from Cuba. I don't know how to import trade. So they got to figure that out. Upload it onto the software. Well, crap, that doesn't work because I trade stocks and options, and the thing just kind of flipped out on me. So now they're going like, it's a good thing I'm in my free trial, cancel. So it doesn't work. A lot of it doesn't work. What we're actually doing, and I've just designed it myself. I mean, as a trader, not as somebody who wants to sell an app. Because if you just want to sell an app, you're going to put every bell and whistle you possibly can in it. So you have a big, long list of things that it does. For me, I'm going like, no, that's not a feature. That's a bug. I want to have a handful of things, like the only things that I personally need to know so that I can know where I am in my trading and where I'm going. And those are the only things that we're going to put in. And we're actually going to make it so easy that if you're like either so lazy or time efficient, or just have no desire to import your trades and all that kind of stuff, we'll do it for you. We'll do it all for you. You don't have to do anything else. We'll just log in and look and see how your results are. You're going to get to study the charts, like where you bought, where you sold. By the way, I don't think they're around here anymore. I had a red and a green thick felt tip pen. I used to print out stacks of charts and have to go through my account statement, green for buy, red for sell. And then I'm looking to see where my tendencies are. That's what I used to have to do. I would come in on a Saturday all day long. And a lot of times, don't tell God, I would even work on Sundays sometimes, to do that. But I learned so much about my trading. But the thing is, honestly, I don't expect you to do that. I don't expect anybody to do that. It's really, really hard work. But you need to do that. You have to. So it's like the very thing that people need to do is the thing that they don't want to do. And I get it. It's a nightmare to do. So I kind of thought, what if we do the same thing that everybody else does, only we approach the stuff that they hate to do, which is why they always cancel. And I've talked to a bunch of traders who I tried it. It didn't work. I did it for a month. Why? Well, I just wasn't really doing it. Basically, you're lazy. Yeah, I guess so. Okay. Not a pejorative term, but, just you didn't want to do the work. What if it could all be done for you, and then you could just go look at your results and you could tweak it, you could do what you wanted to do? Then everybody's like, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, well, that's an opportunity, not just for me, but for anybody. So anyway, I'm honestly not marketing that because you can't buy it. We're still programming it. But that's something that, in my view, at least for our members, that's going to be groundbreaking.
That's cool.
This for a long time, and I taught a class actually on this a while back. People went nuts. Going like, oh my God, got to do this. So,
wow.
Anyway, but it all just comes down to, again, to kind of wrap it up. It comes down to, why do you want to trade? Ultimately, you want to make money, but that can't be your motivation.
Right.
Your motivation has to be trading well. And what if you can, and you don't know whether you're trading well till you know what the heck you're doing. When we're out driving, the only way you know that you're driving well is because you're staying in between the lines. And if the road turns, like, you have to turn with it. You have to. Otherwise, how do you know whether you're losing weight or not? It's not how you feel, because, think about this. This is actually a pretty good analogy. If you fast one day, or you skip breakfast and lunch or whatever, well, I feel like I'm a little bit lighter. I'm losing weight. Great. That's called a winning trade. And then you go pig out on ice cream and whatever else at night, have too many things to drink, and then you wake up in the morning and you're hungover and you're heavy, you feel sluggish. Well, now you're losing weight. Well, that's a bad trade. Well, you're going to have kind of both. But what you need to do is be able to have a frame of reference going forward, so that you're always able to know, like, you know what? Maybe I didn't need that second cocktail. Maybe I didn't need to skip breakfast and lunch. Maybe I just need to eat a little bit better. And let's see if we could get that scale to gradually go down. So you're making these corrective actions. How could trading possibly be any different than that? The only reason it is because people allow it to be. It's like sitting at the slot machines with an unlimited number of quarters. Ultimately, the slot machine's going to get them all. But if you're not keeping track, you're not even going to know they're going until you only got a handful left. So that, to me, is the key to trading, is to know that your motivation is to trade well, and then have a process for getting there, for actually getting to where you can look at it and say, yes, I am trading better. My average loss is now, 3.5%, whereas 2 months ago it was 5%. My biggest loss was 5%, whereas my biggest loss 3 months ago was, oh my God, that one that went down before I fell. That's how you get it, because otherwise it's a typical thing. Any fool can make money in a bull market.
Yeah.
I want you to make money in your life.
Right.
To me, is a better metric.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it, folks. We just did most of an hour with the Stock Market Mentor.
Here.
And I tell you what, that's really great to hear all this stuff from Dan. And I hope you guys will go and check him out at Stock Market Mentor and really reach out to him. Dan, do you have social media that people could reach out to you at?
I do. My Twitter account. I don't do Instagram and all that stuff. I don't do any Facebook. We have a Facebook business account or a thing, but I'm not a Facebook guy. Twitter, it's a very complicated handle. Dan Fitzpatrick.
Ooh. Hope you guys can remember that one.
That's it. And you can email me too. Dan at stockmarketmentor.com. And that's literally like my personal email address. I have.
Well, there you go.
But yeah,
make sure to send him all of your spam and all of your newsletters and everything like that.
I have filters for those.
Well, I really appreciate the fact that you would come on and really share your wisdom. Honestly, this was just mostly you. I got to sit back and listen to you for all that time, and I hope that the audience out there can really appreciate the knowledge bomb that Dan just gave us here. It was a significant amount of content that we went through, and I would honestly suggest that maybe you listen to this at least more than once to go back and pick up any of the notes that maybe you had missed along the way, because Dan covered a really broad range of topics. And you know what? Well, like we said earlier, it's not about the buy button. It's not about the sell button. It's everything in between. It's the game that happens between your ears that really is what makes you successful in trading or any other thing in your life. So, yeah, Dan, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
My pleasure. I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Yeah, this was really wonderful. And thank you guys for tuning in to today's How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and enable notifications so you never miss any of the tools, tips, and tricks that we upload every single week to help you trade faster and trade smarter. And I'll see you on the next episode.
Hey, thank you so much for listening to today's How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast. I know you're a listener, but are you a watcher? Make sure you head on over to YouTube, type in 10-Minute Stock Trader, and subscribe to the 10MinuteStockTrader.com YouTube channel. Every week I upload all the podcasts as full videos, and that way you're getting the full 10-minute trading experience. That way you can have all the tools, tips, and tricks to help you trade faster and trade smarter. Make sure you subscribe to whatever podcast app you're listening to, and leave me a 5-star review if you don't mind. That would be fantastic. And whenever you're done with that, head on over to 10MinuteStockTrader.com and download the 1-minute options trading quick start guide. It'll give you all the tools, tips, and tricks that I use in my own portfolio, and it never gets outdated, and it will apply to every single options trade out there, so I think it'll be pretty useful for you. And while you're there, check out the free portfolio page. That'll show you everything that I've traded over the last year in full transparency. And since you're on the website already, check out the free trading course. In this free trading course, I give you every single thing that I know and use in my own portfolio, and I definitely think it'll help you out too. And then, after you're done there, head on over to tastyworks.com and sign up using the code 10MINUTE, that's 10MINUTE, and I'll send you over $150 in free 10-Minute Trader exclusive bonuses from 10MinuteStockTrader.com. And most of all, thank you so much for letting me be a part of your day. I really appreciate the fact that you and I have connected today and that you've chosen to put me inside your earbuds. That means the absolute world to me. And thank you so much for stopping by. 10MinuteStockTrader.com content is for information and educational purposes only. It is not, nor is it intended to be, trading or investment advice or recommendation that any security, futures contract, options contract, transaction, or other financial instrument or strategy is suitable for any person. Trading securities can involve high risk and the potential for total loss of any funds invested. 10MinuteStockTrader.com and Christopher Uhl, through its content, financial programming, or otherwise, does not provide investment or financial advice or make investment recommendations. Investment information provided may not be suitable for all investors and is provided without respect to the individual investors and audience's financial sophistication, financial situation, investing time horizon, or risk tolerance. 10MinuteStockTrader.com and Christopher Uhl are not in the business of trading securities trades, nor does it direct client commodity accounts or give commodity trading advice, tailored to any particular client situation or investment objectives. 10MinuteStockTrader.com and Christopher Uhl are not licensed financial advisors, registered investment advisors, or registered broker-dealers. Stocks, options, futures options, and other financial instruments not included here involve risk and are not suitable for all investors. You alone are responsible for making your investment and financial trading decisions, and for evaluating the merits and risks associated with the use of any financial security and broker platform. For more information, please visit 10MinuteStockTrader.com/legal. And thanks for stopping by.